Hello. So I'm fighting. And doing what I know, doing my spiritual training always, and that gives me the wisdom to, I wouldn't say always know what to do in the present moment, but like I'm still working with pain. So where I'm still learning how to know what to do in each and every moment, I have pain as a place to rest. Let life happen until circumstances may and might change for me to see or change enough to go forward again. And I'm doing that today. It's just getting a bit too much in the moment to be kept on the side of comfort. And it was starting to get challenging, so I thought, what can I do? I don't want to stop taking apart the chair which I'm moving, because if I stop, one, I'm not sure what else to do, and two, when I'm normally in that place, if I do stop, normally means a matter of time before I'm likely to get up again after the pain sets in. So I thought I'd make a live stream to try and avoid that. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to talk about, what subject matter. I'll try and keep it lighter, more spiritual, but it's to ask anybody that ever watches and sees this video, is there anything you would like to know? To set your intent now, so that in a minute, in 5 minutes, however long the live stream goes on for, the words that will come out will be for all of us. I guess the place to start is with myself. I'll give you a little update on where I'm at. And the reason I do that is just to distract myself from having to think about what to talk about. And if I talk about myself, my life, which is what I know, and I look at it very spiritually, all the things that happen to me. And as I translate what's happened to me in my life, however that direction goes off, I don't necessarily think what am I going to explain of this insanity in any way. I just started speaking about the insanity. And in that place, the spiritual subject matter takes over and guides the conversation. The problem I'm having right now is that I don't quite know how to speak in terms of addressing the camera, because and I paused because I was about to go on, and the very reason why I struggle to know what to say to the camera is because I don't know where I am in certainty. Now, what I mean by that is, given yesterday, and it hurts to speak like this, the energy to summon, to speak of the past is almost like I'm trapped in two worlds at the moment, literally, in that uncertainty. When I think of the past, due to me being so weak, it demands a different tone of voice, a different density. If I speak to the present of what I believe is the future, right now, it would require a different tone, a different density. And I guess that's the place to start, because right now in the present moment, I believe I'm in the future. I say that because I don't know for certain that I'm in the future, but it's what I believe, it's what my life is saying to me. And my life is I don't know how quite to reference it best, but my whole life is underpinned, that's what I wanted to say, by the energy I have given to it. In other words, all the energy I've given over the troubled times, which has been immense, beyond imagination for what I could have ever imagined I would have given as a spiritual warrior in this life. I say spiritual warrior because I couldn't have done that just being Andreas or Gabriel. When I changed my name, or when I was assistant manager, or just a customer advisor. The tone for the present and the future is imagining Atlantis, imagining having dreamed of Atlantis for the last almost 20 years, been aware of the concept for about another prior almost 20, well, 10 or so. I don't know how, when a child learns about the stories of Atlantis. And the problem is when I I don't know who to speak to. I don't know if I'm for certain in the future, because the past still looks like the past. And finding the in-between way to speak between those two parallels is a real challenge. The density of the past and the consciousness, the simplicity, awareness, really knowing that nothing needs to be said at all in the future. That's how I imagine we would speak in Atlantis. We wouldn't really speak at all, unless we wanted to explore, I wouldn't say a lesser part of ourselves, but a part of ourselves that we just wish to remember for a few minutes. And in this in-between place, I'm forming again. I don't know for certain if it's the right thing to do, to reform now. But life tells me it's time to reform and take the opportunity that life is giving me to reform. And in that reforming process, the food on the table is the story of Atlantis. The food on the table is that of freedom for all mankind, and freedom within the necessity of any survival for life. There's no real way to speak as if I'm in, well, I say the past because I believe I'm in the future, but it could very well be the present moment to the past as well, as much as it could be the present moment to the future. I'm hoping you're able to follow if it is the past. If it's the future, and in this place, to speak of the past as if it's the past is very painful. And I have to have a certain mindset at the very least. To speak that way. And to speak to the future, there's a more openness and more vulnerability to being an idiot, a child, to an immense consciousness that I am, possibly more, we are entering into right now in what should be 2022. And I can't summon the energy to find a way to speak coherently, combining the two realities at present, and it would summon too much energy, and that's why I say it hurts to look at the past. Really and truly, I lost to life to realize I'm in the future. We are in the future. The only way I can describe it is a case of fighting to do your best as a spiritual warrior, and realizing that which is spiritual, nature, the people, the spiritual concepts and everything you've learned along the journey aren't there working for you anymore. They haven't been, at least not in any real significant way that's visible and acknowledgeable for a long time. And in that place of fighting as a spiritual warrior, and don't forget, for me, spirituality in its heart is simplicity and heart. Love, unconditional love and consciousness. The ideas of truth, honor, courage, peace, and self as well. I was still human, so I needed to eat, I needed to live, and what it meant to live, what it meant to be alive. So I think about ideas of food, I think of ideas of shopping, technology. What finally killed me was an idea of love. That idea was it's what pushed me over the edge. Basically, life said, this is not a test, this is serious. I apologize to the future, but shit be going down. To a new level when you are at the weakest you've ever been, the most vulnerable you've ever been, the most detached from spirituality, seemingly you've ever been, whilst knowing at the same time spirituality is ever present, and realizing the seriousness of the situation on many levels, realizing you're losing your mind, realizing that battle to reality will never be healed in this world. And realizing that really and truly you're waiting on a miracle to get yourself out of the place. And you've exhausted every opportunity available to you up until that point to improve circumstances, and circumstances don't improve. And I vowed really never to love again. I saw myself through the pain in the future, even in the times of Atlantis, slightly melancholic to the reality of life. Still at work on some level, the final act of service to us all. And in that, what I imagine would be a rather prolonged act. In other words, we're talking likely the span of many years. It will be a healing process on some level. I never saw past the melancholy. I never saw past my own demise. I always saw myself fighting. I didn't ever expect Atlantis to be put in front of me when I've ideas of Atlantis, ideas of the future, when I've lost the spiritual battle. And well, I was in a place where loss was more than inevitable, and if I was given any opportunity of a way out, a way forward, I'd have had to have taken it. And it was starting to explain to me ideas of past lives, and in that place of connecting to the past life, recounting the trauma of the final death in that past life. So I was made very aware it's time to be alert to the situation. And the funny thing is, the way and the means that that final message of my past life was communicated to me was in a way where it was rather abstract, but it was a message that contained an idea of love. And it basically said to me, look, Andrew, look, Gabriel, you're about to be, you're actually in the process of being pushed over the edge of a cliff. Here is an opportunity for love. So I took it in an absolute insanity. In that final act of losing my mind, I said, right, my life has no room for love. My life has no people for love. My mind has no idea, thought or want of love in the fight for life and survival. The reality of the past says reality has no room for love in your life. Here's love. You've been pushed over a cliff. What do you want to do? And well, I'm still grabbing it. I'm still there. And that's why I say, I don't know for certainty where I am. If I'm about to fall to my death and demise, wake up in a coma in another world, or experience love in any of the infinite ways it can be experienced. But I'm doing my best to grab love. I've made effort, I've made energy. And it's scary because I'm falling off the edge of a cliff. And I have hope in utter insanity. You know, if you're falling, you haven't learned how to fly yet. If someone says grab love, within the very push In other words, if you could feel a message within that push, is it a push of anger? Is it a push of hate and despite? Is it a push of just for humour and a laugh? Or is it a push of love? And you feel that push of love and you know the message in that moment. And you're doing your best to try and focus on the love whilst your body is falling. That's where I am. And the truth is, I don't know if I'm going to fall to my demise. I don't doubt that. At the very least, there'll be a crash mat of sorts at the bottom. I trust in infinite benevolence. I don't trust infinite benevolence to be ever more than the crash mat. I try and be humble with my requests to the infinite. And in that way, I show an element of sincerity to life. And I'm pretty sure the Red Tribe, the Native Americans, they have that sincerity to life, to earn luck. And that's how to know spirituality, when you earn luck. That's how to see spirituality in a spiritual-less world. Living in the insanity, being insane, and constantly applying your sincerity to a mad situation. And every time you receive that little bit of luck, you measure it to what you know luck to be. And sometimes you go without for a long time. You never expect. You just do it as an unconditional act to life. In the hope life listens. In the hope life responds. And I don't expect anything more than a crash mat. I expect a crash mat. Because I can demand in this moment from spirituality. Because I've earned my luck. And I've honed my mind not to accept more luck than spirituality gives in what I've asked. So that one day, that burning and sincerity to life will save my life. Sounds a bit like Carlos Castaneda when he lived his life for intent and an intention. From intellect. And the intellect was only allowed in the inevitable to save Carlos's life. That was the only time the intellect for Carlos was able to be displayed and shown. It's very similar to that. I guess I don't see luck anymore. And really, I have been quite luckless to a certain extent. But I have been this way for a long, long time. And in this way, I truly forget my luck before then. So I expect a crash mat, and I expect it with my life. Because if there's no crash mat, I am dead. So for me, it's a certainty. For there's no reason to give any energy or thought to dying, unless there's a way to guarantee it. But really, where I am in the present moment, it's looking like Atlantis in this present future moment. And really and truly where I've been pushed with love. In that push, ideas of love have run through my mind. What love looks like, what would it look like to me and my life? And I've gone for the most simplest understanding of love that I can muster without any fury back to life for pushing me. To demand my crash mat of love. And well, it's a bit weird, if I'm honest, because just like the falling, I don't really have much choice but to believe in love right now in the moment. It makes sense to believe in love and to believe in a crash mat. And I believe it with my life. I mean, what finally pushed me over the edge, and I was very weak in the final moments, so it probably wasn't a lot to make me believe something a lot more than what was. I saw a lot of love in a single frame, and that scared the shit out of me, because that wasn't in my life. And love isn't always love. Love is sometimes painful love. So at the moment, I've convinced myself, and this is how I've gone insane, that life is going to give me a crash mat in one of three worlds. And in this world, I've convinced myself, because it's the only world I really have control over, staying in the past, present, or going into the future, present. I don't know how to get back to the coma world, so I might as well forget it. And in staying focused to this world, knowing that someone's just pushed me over the edge from the other world, and it's into something new, and it's going to be world-changing for me one way or another, whether it's pain beyond imagination or something that is getting close to pure bliss, even if it's a concept in mind initially. And well, I guess spirituality asked me a few days ago, which one's real, Gabriel? Which one do you believe is real? And there's actually a fourth reality, so the past, present, future, present, me being in a coma or me waking up in one of my previous lives. And in that place, life asked me, what do you believe? And the truth is, I believe I'm in a coma at some point in my life. And that's where I'm likely to wake up to. What do I know is that, just like that cup I've knocked over now, this bit of wood, when I knock, sounds very real. The tobacco I'm smoking, that smokes like I imagine tobacco would smoke like. And the way I feel in relationship to love, because I don't really know life at the moment. It could be anything. And in the reality of this reality, there's really no anything that I have at my disposal as a means to making any impact on a crash mat, at the very least. And giving energy to life. We all learn our crash mats. And well, I'm just doing my best, and really I should be resting and recuperating my energies. But it's a case of rest isn't possible at the moment, and I have to keep on moving. So earning your crash mat could actually be taking a nap. And I'm wondering, as I'm telling the story, is it appropriate to change my tone maybe? Let's try and speak to the future, in the tone of the future. But in the only way I can at the moment, and that is to speak to the present in the past. And that should hopefully change some of the words and the tone. So I'm giving energy for the crash mat. I'm waiting for things and people to make it clear for me, for spirituality, and obviously life to give whatever it is they're going to give. And little bits of information are coming to me, and I'm still very weak, so I'm still fighting. It's not helpful. And in that place, I'm looking for distractions, like taking apart the chair and moving it to the back room. Things like the live stream. And well, what I'll do is tell you something else, because that's what I asked of you at the beginning of the video. What would you like to know? And a little idea popped into my head. It sounds far more interesting. Than all of those directions of the previous story. And the little idea that just popped into my head, that one way or another the future just gave to me, was to share something that happened the other day. It was only very small, but where I haven't got a shower at the moment, I have a bowl to wash in. And with health problems, it's not always easy to bend down. If I can save any energy by sometimes not washing my feet, especially if I'm not going out, I might miss washing my feet. And and I can't say it annoyed me without saying used to annoy me. So I'll say used to annoy me. It's as if I'm in the future now. It used to annoy me. And where it used to annoy me, I just accept the annoyance as the situation. And I'd always look at the water in the canal and think, why don't I just wash my feet in it? It's right there. And I just would never have the energy to do that. Take that time to wash my feet in the water. And well, it's difficult speaking to the future, because in the future everybody knows. And in the future I'm a kid, I'm a little boy who, with a big body that understands a very complex situation and is being born into a man's body. I don't know if that makes sense. It's like being born with a man's or a fully grown woman's body. Because you're being born and you have consciousness and awareness, and you're essentially entering an entirely new world. And the things that you know of that world give you the ability to communicate in the way of the past. And because of your past, you know ideas of possibilities of the future world. And you know a way and a means to, that would be best that you can do to communicate to them, knowing that they understand you better than I know myself. And there are no words in the future, but I don't understand how to know no words right now in the present moment. And I give words, and in the future, I'm like a child that's just been born into a man's body. They're looking at me like a little baby. Oh, isn't he cute? And they're waiting for me to make noise and cry and everything else a newborn baby does. So the little idea that popped into my head was about Jesus. And it said to me, you remember that time that you washed the feet in the water the other day? It was like when Jesus washed his disciples' feet when Jesus was about to die. And that idea was put into my mind just now. But the thing is, with the spiritual information that's come to me over the past few days, stories saying how Jesus is about to come back to life, or has already come back to life. So really and truly, me washing my hands just now in the water, spirituality popping the idea into my mind of me washing my own feet in the canal the other day, reminding me of Jesus' act of washing his disciples' feet. The little voice wants to basically imply, and for me to pass on, Jesus is about to come back to life. So roll out the red carpets. Get some bread and wine ready. Because I guess there's going to be one hell of a party to throw. He's been asleep for a long time, man. A long, long time. And I can sleep. But Jesus is a good couple thousand years older than me. And he's been asleep for the best part of that time. So in terms of Jesus, in terms of the past, in terms of the future, it might be Atlantis is on the cards. I'm going to just speak to Jesus a second. Hey bro, when you get up, you might be in a little bit of pain. It's alright, man. Just work through it. You're strong. And I'll see you soon. Anything you want me to bring? We should bring Jesus something. We should bring Jesus as much as we can. I want to say everything, but I've just been given everything, and I can't give that away. I would if I could, bro. I would if I could. He deserves it.